Joining us now, psychotherapist Jonathan Alpert. We hear the president talk about TDS. What is Trump derangement syndrome? If you have it, how does it affect you?
Well, Peter, first of all, just to clarify, it's not an actual diagnosis. We don't see it in the DSM. However, as a psychotherapist, I am deeply, deeply concerned about what I've been seeing and what many of the politicians that you showed have been seeing for almost 10 years now. We see great division in families and friendships broken up over how someone may feel about Trump. What I'm seeing is symptoms that in many ways mirror other disorders. So people are anxious, highly anxious, they're angry, they can't sleep. One person even said she couldn't possibly enjoy a family vacation as long as Trump is out there. So these are hallmark features of any disorder that I treat every day of the week, and we should really be concerned about this.
And based on what you're describing, where people are so upset that they can't go on vacation, like you wrote about in the Wall Street Journal as well, is this something where people are calling in sick to work because they're upset about Donald Trump living in the White House?
Well, certainly after the election we saw that. I think we even saw Georgetown University granting students the day off after the election. And I do wonder if they would have done the same thing if Kamala Harris had won.
And so that's a great, interesting point. Have you ever heard about anybody having a Joe Biden derangement syndrome or Barack Obama derangement syndrome? Or is this just something for Donald Trump?
Well, certainly I had patients who hated Joe Biden, but it never rose to the point where they wanted him dead or would stay up at night obsessing over Joe Biden the way that they do over Trump. And that's where I think the pathology comes into play, if it's affecting your life that profoundly. And I would even go so far as to call this a mental health epidemic, and in some ways the defining pathology of the past decade.
And ever since you started talking about this, you started receiving threats and menacing messages. Can you tell us about some of those?
Sure, yeah, and I knew the piece would spark some debate, but I didn't think it would lead to death threats. So people have sent me just vicious messages. Some people have labeled me a pedophile protector. Other people have wished me death and wished that it would be shown to the world on video. And frighteningly, some of these are actually coming from my colleagues, therapists. These are people that we trust to help people with mental health issues, and they're out there with such vitriol and anger. And that's really, really concerning that people who are licensed as mental health providers are sending such messages to strangers, people they don't even know.
And so as a psychotherapist, if there is somebody afflicted with TDS, what would you tell them to do about it?
Well, if TDS existed, I would really try to help them separate fact from fiction and understand that some of their thoughts may not be rooted in fact, and they might be harming them, and they're not rational. So if you think that Trump is going to round up the gays and send them off to an island, or if you think that Trump is a Nazi, like, these things are not proven, they're not fact at all. And a lot of the time that I spend in session is helping people understand what's fact and what isn't. So really helping people with that can make a huge, huge difference.
And just so that our viewers can best understand this, does this happen where people come to you talking about Donald Trump first, or do they come to you anxious and depressed, and then you realize that it is because of Donald Trump?
Well, both. I have some patients who within 30 seconds will talk about Trump, and that dominates the session. Other people are just anxious and depressed, and then we find out it's because they're hyper-fixated on Trump. So really, Trump dominates probably about 3/4 of the sessions of the patients that I have.
And my last question before we have to go, are you concerned that if there ever is a cure for Trump derangement syndrome, that it might put CNN and MS Now out of business?
I am concerned. Good question.
Thank you. Jonathan Alpert, this is fascinating. We actually asked Dr. Oz about this 2 weeks ago, and we could not wait to have you on. So thank you very much for being here today, and we'll have you back sometime.
Thank you, Peter. Take care.
All right. After a short break, we are going to show you how to get help with holiday shopping from AI.